Welcome back to the channel. This is DeadMf. We are back again in the prison called life. Hope you guys are doing good in the prison called life. We are back again, man. We are back again. And the topic for today is existential crisis. This is funny because when we talk about an existential crisis, for me, it's not really a crisis. For me, it's an opportunity, you know, an opportunity for you to finally think for yourself, because many people will ask you to go and see a therapist and stuff like that, but that's not necessary. When you finally find yourself staring at the abyss, starting to distinguish between what's real and what's not real, it's like the lies are starting to wear off. The programming that they programmed you with, it's starting to fade away. The lies that they told you, the brainwashing, it starts to get distorted a little bit. You start to finally think for yourself and finally be able to ask yourself some questions. When it comes to that, it's like it's finally an opportunity to know yourself and to know who you really are. And most times you'll find out that who you think you are is actually just a nobody. You start to realize that this life just cannot be real. You start to ask yourself those kind of questions. Who am I? What am I doing here? What's my purpose here? What is this thing for? What are we doing here? What's our purpose as the human race? And then you look at what the human race is doing and you realize that the only thing that's wrong with this planet is human beings. Everything just seems to be fine, but human beings and what they do with their so-called intelligence, that seems to be a problem. And then you look at the people around you and you find out that they still stuck in that programming, they still stuck in that indoctrination, of what has been sold to them. So an existential crisis, man, it's not really a crisis, it's an opportunity. You start to know yourself a little bit better. You start to really know who you are and what you actually want out of this life, because most people, they don't know what they want. They think they know what they want, but they don't. They don't. I mean, you go back to when you were a bit younger. They used to ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up? And you would really just say anything that you thought was acceptable at that time. You would just say anything. I want to be a policeman. I want to work for the FBI. I want to be a lawyer, because maybe your parents were lawyers. You would really just say anything that was in the frame of what would be deemed acceptable. So you didn't really know what you want, And some people, they grow up and they still work jobs that they think they want, but it's just that programming, it just never fades off. You've never had an existential crisis. You've never really come to terms with who you are, not as a person, because I believe what you think you are as a person is just a character that you fabricated in your mind. Who you are, at a much deeper level. And you'll find out that you're nobody. You're nobody. You're not really special. You're just gracing the world with your presence for this period while you're still alive. You're just a bleep. So that kind of mindset, somebody might say it's not really a mindset, it's actually a reality. Somebody might say that's dangerous. That's dangerous to think like that. It's dangerous to see the world and perceive it with that kind of thinking. But it's not, because this is exactly what sets you free. This is exactly what sets you free, man. You start to see that most things are useless, man. Useless things that, we just occupying ourselves with. Useless things. The things that we do every day, you know, we just passing time. Because for some of us, we realize that this existence, man, it's fake. It's fake. At some point you realize this doesn't feel like home at all. And you look at the people around you, they all jolly and they all whatever, but you can see beyond what these people are seeing, man. They're just stuck in that frame of this is the world and this is how we do it. But you're able to think bigger than what the world is. You're able to see beyond the veil. So if you've never had an existential crisis, and when it usually happens, it usually comes with a form of depression. But it's really not depression. It's really not depression. It's you realizing that we've been lied to, man. They told you this is reality, but what is reality? Something in you is tired of the lies and is tired of the pretense. You can no longer pretend anymore. So you get an existential crisis. But in the bigger scheme of things, man, once you get over that existential crisis, there's a certain freedom that comes along with it. And that freedom will make you to be able to tolerate this reality. You'll be able to tolerate this reality. You'll be able to see people for what they are, and you discover that, okay, so you people are just self-serving. You don't care about anybody else, really. You see that, okay, people are fake. It's just a game, get a job, get some money, do whatever. Doesn't mean anything. It kind of makes you free, because it makes you look at the world as, these are the options that we have in this existence. This is how you can play the game and maneuver the game. You can take that way, you can take this way. It just kind of enhances your way of thinking. So an existential crisis is not really a crisis. There's an opportunity for you to know who you are. It's an opportunity. Those questions that you ask yourself, they are very crucial, because in some cases it can make you or break you. And it usually comes after you've experienced some form of trauma. Maybe you've lost something, or you've lost someone that it starts to hit you. That's when it starts to hit you, after you most likely lose something, or you go through a certain kind of trauma. That's when the existential crisis hits you. I guess trauma has a way of shaking off programming. Hmm. Maybe that's why in the military, when you get it, I've never been into the military, so if you've been in the military, maybe you can confirm if this is true or not. But maybe that's why in the military, when you first get there, they start to shave your head, and they put you through some hard training, and they just kind of have to traumatize you a little bit so you can, you know the programming that you had, you have to leave it so that you can take on this new identity as a soldier. So I guess trauma has a way of shaking off the programming and the brainwashing that you initially had. Yeah, man. This is DeadMf and I'm signing out.